Audio Jungle.
Hello, guys. My name is Chris, and I'm here basically to elaborate more on the Royal Navy Commonwealth application. I'm an active serving member. Recently joined last year, and one of the issues I had when joining was there wasn't a lot of information like readily available for persons coming from the Commonwealth to the UK to join the Royal Navy. And I just feel like if I can be of some assistance to at least a few persons out there in terms of the information that you need, then that would be good on my part. Now I'm gonna cover a few basic stuff. And as a disclaimer, I want to say that right now, as of the 14th of April 2020, that the Royal Navy is not recruiting Commonwealth personnel at this time. It's due to the overwhelming amount of persons that are applying now, and as well as the whole COVID-19 situation that's kicking off. So this video is more information for when everything comes back online. You can always reference this and go forward. I intend on making multiple videos and pushing them out there for you guys to make a more informed decision about what you're doing, as well as being brought up to speed and everything that you need to do. So yeah, let me start. I'm gonna start with number one. I'm gonna start with the essential stuff that I think that persons are gonna need to know straight out the gate. And that's number one: the Royal Navy will not provide you with accommodation when you get to the United Kingdom. You should have already set up your sponsor over here, and as well as where you're gonna stay over here and food and all that. The Royal Navy is not going to provide you with accommodation of any type until you are actively a serving member. That's you cross the dotted line and yes, you're in the Navy. Otherwise than that, you have to depend on your sponsor for boarding, food, and all that for the duration of your application, however long that might take. And even after you join the Navy, I always encourage persons to have a good relationship with your sponsor, especially if they're the only person that you have in the UK, whether they're family or not, because you never know. Things can go sideways sometimes, and you just need that extra moral support, that extra assistance, motivation sometimes to just keep you going. So yeah, that's number one. The Royal Navy will not give you any sort of accommodation prior to you being successful in your application. Number two is that all dual nationals must provide an official letter from their residing country stating that they are not obligated to serve any what do you say? Any service back in the country, like getting drafted. Some countries have a mandatory term of serving. So you have to provide that. If you're serving back home, like in a police force or in an army or a navy back home, you have to provide that disclaimer that okay, you have the right away to leave that particular institution and go elsewhere. So that's number two. If you're a dual serving citizen, you need that official letter stating that you are free. You're a free man, you're a free woman to charter this course basically. So yeah, that's number two. Number three is that flights to the UK, persons willing to come, persons that are pursuing joining the Royal Navy and coming over here, you have to pay your own costs. You have to pay your own flight costs to come to the UK. The Royal Navy is not going to help you with the percentage or percentile of that. That full cost in full needs to be booked by you, needs to be checked by you. You are essentially taking a risk in coming over here, and you have to make sure that this is what you want. You have to make sure that you put in 100 while you're in your home country. Don't wait until you come to the UK and say, oh, when I get over there I'll start running, or when I get over there I'll try, sort my swimming out and all that. You need to get that sorted back at home, back in your comfort zone, and you need to make sure that this decision, this choice you're making is one that you actually want, not being forced into. So that's point number 3. The Royal Navy is not going to cover the cost for you to leave home to come to the UK to apply. Not going to happen, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon as well. Number 4, and this is kind of a not so pleasant one, but I have to cover it either way. If you're applying to join the RN, and at some point in your application phase you're not successful, you can retake the course, you can reschedule. Your recruiting officer, you would be assigned to a recruiting officer when you get over here, and they would basically take charge of your admin, whereas joining the RN is concerned. So if you attend a particular course, let's say the PRNC, that's the pre-Royal Navy joining test. No, it's a pre-Royal Navy course. That's it. It's been a while. So if you take that and you are unsuccessful, then you can reschedule if there is sufficient time left on your visa or passport stamp. You can retake the test again if you're unsuccessful in, let's say, your medical. And I always advise persons about this. If you're unsuccessful in your medical, don't just give up. Don't just throw your hands in the air and say, oh no, it's the end of the world. It's not. I knew certain persons that had medical issues, and they had to appeal. There is an appeal process. If there's something wrong with you and you figure, well, this is a bit strange, I've never had this before, or it's just something weird, and it's something happens. It happened to me. It happened to a few other persons. You can appeal that decision that you're medically unfit, because it's a bit discouraging to come this far only to have your application terminated due to medical reasons that it does not exist. So I would always encourage persons, try appeal, and see where it gets you. But if you're unsuccessful, your recruiting officer would give you further guidance on what you need to do, areas where you need to improve. If you're unsuccessful with your psychometric test, for example, you may need to resit that test at a later time when you feel that you are more competent. It won't be the next day, it won't be the next week, but at a later time. So yeah, you need to make sure that you take this on board. Unsuccessful application doesn't mean that's it. There's always options, there's always alternatives, so try to liaison with your AFCO, have a discussion, and they will give you guidance because they have a wealth of experience. I was lucky to have a very good AFCO in Cardiff. I'm not going to mention his name here, but he was an amazing guy, stellar guy, and was down to earth, give me the best advice. So that's tip number 4. If you're unsuccessful in an application, don't just give up, explore alternatives. Coming to that, number 5, if your visa is going to expire before you are enrolled in the Royal Navy, then the RN will not apply for you to get an extensive to get an extension on your visa. It's not gonna happen. I've heard talk of that before, but from my knowledge and person's knowledge that I've spoken to, it's just never happened. So yeah, that's something to take on board. If your visa is expiring soon, if your passport is expiring soon, if your stamp is expiring soon, you're gonna need to, it's not gonna sound nice, but you're gonna need to leave the country, go back to your country of abode and sort out your visa, sort out your passport, and then make another trip back to the UK. It can be daunting at times. I know an individual that had to apply 4 times, and this is coming from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's a lot of money. That's about $4,000 per trip times 4. So that's a lot of money. But persistence is key, and today he's in the RN. He's loving every bit of it. So make sure your passport, your visa, and all that is in date before you leave home. The last thing you want to happen is that you're over here, your application is going smooth, and you have to return home due to oversight such as your visa or passport. It won't be a good feeling. So that's point number 5. Make sure your visa and your passport, everything like that, is on point. Point number 6 that follows on somewhat to point number 5, and that is travel. Now, when you're here in the UK, wherever you are going to set your interview, your psychometric test, those travels, and travel to your AFCO, they're not going to be covered by the MOD. They're not going to give you like a stipend, a pre-joining stipend or something like that. It's not going to happen. You have to make sure that you have, a budget, a travel budget. It's not going to be in the hundreds or thousands, but just make sure that you have something to take you from point A to point B. Commuting, daily from where you're staying with your sponsor to the AFCO to do these interviews, to do your pre-joining fitness test, your psychometric test, and all these, because it is essential. If you miss them, you're pushing back your application further and further. So you need to know that the RN, prior to you going on any course that they are having, they will not give you any sort of traveling expense or anything of that sort. So you need to get that book done. 7th point that I'm going to touch upon, I think this is going to be the last one. Because this video, I don't want to make it too drawn out. The 7th point that I'm going to home in on, final point, is that you need to complete a security clearance. Every applicant, needs to do a security clearance. Whether you're joining from inside the UK, you're a British citizen, or you're joining from a Commonwealth country, an external country, you are going to need to do a security clearance. This is a long process. It took me about 2 to 3 hours to fill out every bit of information that I could. But you're going to need to do security clearance, and this is to ensure that you're not a threat to national security and all that. And as I said, it's not just something for Commonwealth persons here in the UK do it as well. So yeah, you're going to need to get that nailed down. So that's one bit of information I'm going to throw out there. I've never known persons to fail their security test. I heard my PO at one point give someone a bollocking about it not coming true, but things work out for the better for him. But if you don't pass your security clearance test, then that's you're a threat, and yeah, you're not gonna be able to join the RN. So that's just one bit feedback that I need you to take on board. What I would do, in the description I'm gonna list all the Commonwealth countries, so that you know that if you're eligible to join the Royal Navy or not. Because I know that this video might get a good bit of traffic. Personals wanting to know, am I eligible, and all that. I'm gonna list the Commonwealth countries in the description below, and you just, if there's anything else I need to elaborate on, I will. In my further videos, I'm gonna talk about the pre-joining fitness test, the pre-Royal Navy course that you're gonna do, your 2.4 kilometer run, your swimming test, and I'll also touch a little bit upon training. Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope this video would have shed a bit more light than what you already know. Again, I'll be doing more videos, pushing more content out, trying to get them to you guys. If you have any recommendation or feedback, just leave them in the comment section below, and I'll just read them and get back on them and try to improve. This is my first video, so it's not gonna be the best, but I'll just I'll try to continually get better. So if you have any questions, I'll leave a link to my Instagram page below, or my Snapchat, or whatever. If you have any questions, just give me a shout, send a request. I'm not on Facebook at the moment, but I'll try to get around that. Personal reasons, a bit too intrusive. See you guys in the future, and all the best with your applications, and I'll see you in the fleet.